Hey viewers, welcome to another game as Casual Pro Gamer, and welcome to game number 4 between TSLPolt as the Terran in the top left and MStephano as the Zerg in the top right. So yeah, game number 4 out of the 5 they can possibly play. So one of them is ahead 2-1. To be honest, I don't even remember who that is, but I don't really care either. So these are the finals of some tournament, it doesn't really matter. It's an older tournament, I just found the replays and I enjoyed, well, I actually found game number 3 first, and I enjoyed that game so much that I went to look for the other games in the series and kind of went from there. So as you can see, we are going to get a wall off here from our Terran player, which is not a big deal, it's just to prevent the Zergling from running in there. And as Terran, you can place your buildings pretty much wherever you want, because you can't really block yourself in. Because you can always, well, just fly them off or lower the supply depots, and should be easy. So there's no real downside to it. The only downside there is to it is that your SCV has to travel quite a long distance from there to there to build this, so you lose a few minerals in that. And the second is that you can actually get harassed like he did, well, like the drone did over here. The drone kind of started harassing the SCV, so a second SCV had to be pulled off, and if he built that closer to the base, that would have been easier to defend. But as you can see, the drone easily gets away from the SCV. The SCV, however, is not done yet because, well, the drone comes back in to harass, but he wants to complete those barracks as soon as possible. And yeah, so sending out the SCV once again. So here we see the expansion coming out first, and probably going to see a spawning pool afterwards. There you go. That is the standard approach, but it's not necessarily the only approach. I mean, you can also go for 2 bases straight up, so 2 expansions. It is, however, very, very risky, so we don't see it a whole lot unless people really want to do something fancy. But as you can see, he's not doing that. So the SCV coming in, it's going to scout that there is indeed an expansion up and that there is a spawning pool up. And I am going to have to pause here for a moment to set my recording, or to set the game settings to 720p instead of 1080, because it's lagging a little bit and I hate that. So I'll see you, well, afterwards. And we are back, so hopefully this will prevent the lagging a little bit. It's just that my my graphics card can't really handle the recording, or well, my fraps can't really handle the recording of 1080p, and it just starts to lag every now and then. So yeah, sorry about that, but it keeps resetting to 1080p, which is really annoying, to be honest. It's not supposed to do that. So we see some marines being produced, some drones and some queens, nothing really major. For now, it's pretty much whatever. The new command center is coming up, by the way, and there is a factory going down. So yeah, all in all, kind of the standard approach. Going for a factory here, maybe into a starport, and maybe just to produce some Hellions. We'll see that soon enough. I guess this reactor is going to be attached to the factory if he wants to start building those Hellions. And those Hellions would of course be very good against well, what the Zerg player currently has out, which is nothing except for some queens, which, yeah, Hellions don't do really well versus queens, but they can just run past them and kill the drones, which is of course awesome sauce. And we are going to see some more drones. So yeah, not a whole lot happening. I'm going to produce an extra queen for the creep spread, connecting his bases and also spreading the creep forward, of course. And with that, he should be able to do pretty well. Because once the Zerglings and, well, maybe later on, roaches or banelings, once they get that that speed boost from the creep, yeah, they're pretty much unbeatable. Well, unless you have very big units against them or a very big pack of units. but that should really not be a concern right now. So anyway, the supply depot for division, another command center, and wow, he's going really aggressive on the expansions. So crazy mode expansions here. Second expansion coming up for the Terran player before the second expansion comes up from the Zerg player. And we'll have to see if that actually is a good plan. Because, well, you can imagine that it is very hard to hold that off against a Zerg player that is focusing on army. Currently, the Zerg player, however, is not focusing on army at all. He's building a baneling nest. And, well, I guess that's about it. The lair is coming up over here, and that means maybe some new units, some higher tech units. And as you can see, the Zergling gets blocked, no problem, and that's exactly why this wall off is here. It does block that very easily. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. The Hellions were produced, and yeah, after they were produced, the barracks actually takes over the reactor, so that we can actually have some Marines coming out. And of course, big groups of Marines do really well against just about anything. And that is exactly what we would want. And as you can see, the hatchery just keeps getting injected with new larvae. New hatchery coming up. Also, he has one spine crawler, but this new hatchery is just a production hatchery. He is not able, because of these Hellions, he is not able to go out and grab a new base. And yeah, the Hellion is now going to scout around because he's like, shouldn't you be building a new base by now? Oh, nice. He did cancel everything so that he can rebuild them. Yeah, he did rebuild that one as well. So they're trying to spread the creep even though there are Hellions around. Oh, the Hellion fire doesn't actually show up, as you can see. So this first one I think got killed, the rest I don't know. I think the second one got killed as well then, but the Hellion fire doesn't actually show up. So a little bit of a bug there. Maybe because of this is an older replay. It may also just be because of the new update. Yeah, we do see when it hits some units, so it's just not visible when it's in, well, the air. Oh, nicely done. The banelings come in from the other side and actually pick out the Hellions. That is very nicely done, because that could have gone really terribly for our Zerg player. However, he keeps all of his Zerglings alive, and the Zerglings, yeah, although they're not really good against these kind of setups, because they suck against siege tanks, but yeah, they can still do pretty nice damage to this kind of a group. If the siege tank is not sieged, or the Marines are just out on their own, yeah, he can really do well. And as you can see, the base is coming up, or well, it lands, and there is a base coming up here as well. So it's 3 base versus 3 base then, which is very good for the Terran. But yeah, the Zerg player did realize that he needed to build an army to come back in this, and he is going to harass quite a bit. He's going to get a few SCV kills very easily actually. And is he going to get some more? Yeah, there you go. Getting quite a few actually. Sorry, that's this one. 8 of them got killed, and I don't know if all of them got killed right here, but I think most of them at least. Wow, taking off all of these workers, and that alone is already worth it. Of course, the mules are, well, worth nothing if they don't mine. So basically, you're kind of screwed once you need to pull off your mules or lift off your command center. And he is going to be able to land that once again. The Mutalisks here still pretty high health compared to the Marines. The Marines are all super low health. There are no starport units out yet. I don't even know if he has a starport. No, he's building the first one right now. And because of that, because he has no starport out, there are no medevacs, so all of these Marines really low, and yeah, they stimmed, losing about 1/3 of their health right there. And yeah, that is of course really sucky. If well, it's actually about a quarter of their health. But they already stimmed twice, and yeah, that is really sucky if you do that and it results in nothing. But for now, yeah, they can't really go up against the Mutas, but the Mutas really don't want to pick that fight. The Mutalisks may be able to win, but they're way more expensive than these Marines because they cost a lot of gas, and gas is of course the rarest resource on the map, because minerals you can get plenty of them, but gas is really the problem. Well, I guess the tightest resource is, well, the supply, because the supply is actually, yeah, it's so tight that if you build too many Mutas, you can't really build a supporting ground army anymore. Or if you build too many Zerglings, or if you build too many workers are the worst. Because if you build a lot of workers, then yeah, you do have a good income, but you have nothing to spend that on because, well, your supply is already filled up for the most part with workers, and that of course is no good. So the Marines are coming in trying to do something, but they're not going to manage to do a whole lot because these Mutalisks are just going to fly from base to base to base, trying to do some damage. They picked off a reactor, picked off some SCVs, picked off some Marines, and they are still all very healthy except for 3 of them. And he's going to be able to pick off this armory if he wants to. Not going for that, it seems. I don't know whether he went for the SCVs then. But yeah, going to retreat now. The rest of the army from the Terran player just holding off the front, really just defending this base. And yeah, the big army is still over here with, well, numerous of these guys, well, the Zerglings and the Banelings. Just, yeah, good amounts of army. In the meantime, the Mutalisks still doing their job, still picking off whatever they can find, and obviously they're going to be very good against these kind of setups. There are no Marines here, so all he needs to do is fly in and pick off everything until these Marines come back. And yeah, there's the one tank. Bye bye. So obviously tanks can't shoot air units, so yeah, it's pretty easy to get some damage done with those Mutalisks against the tanks. And the tank, yeah, it's really just here unprotected. The Marines are coming in now, but it is going to go down, and as you can see, it is all, or they're all still very healthy, even though all of these Marines are now not so healthy anymore, and there is no energy left. Medevac's completely out of energy, and here comes the big attack. Oh man, so many health bars. Let's just turn them off for a moment. And yeah, as you can see, pretty much a one-sided battle here. All of the Mutalisks still alive, and he just needs to power down and get whatever he can get by command center. Yeah, there was really nothing he could do about that. And now, yeah, I wonder if he can even hold this off, because all of these Marines are so low. There are a couple of missile turrets, I guess. But the missile turrets are not going to do anything against these Zerglings. Zerglings are of course way better than the Marines at this moment, because the Marines are all so low health. Just, yeah, already at half health just from the stim, and there are no medevacs, and the no medevac tactic really doesn't work. There's a reason they're there. And let's see. Yeah, 34 workers killed. There is no way you can come back from that. The command center goes down. The Zerglings run out, but the Zerglings really don't matter. They're really expendable. It's these Mutalisks that are not expendable, but that are still alive. And oh, they actually find some random units. Medevac is going to go down, and we are going to go in on this. Oh, there's really nothing he can do anymore. Just losing all of his workers here. The Zerglings really need to take out this Thor, because the Thor is going to take out all of the Mutalisks. Oh, well, still 7 left, I guess, which is plenty to deal with a lot of stuff. But the Thor's coming out. He's really hoping to be able to do something with those. The Thors are relatively effective against Mutalisks. They're not super effective. And by the way, he burrowed these guys so that he can burrow them when these Marines run over them. So let's see if that actually is going to pay off. Because, oh, yes, he did it. I like those counter tricks, man. I like it. It's a very sneaky tactic, obviously. And yeah, the scan now goes down. But yeah, you don't want to put those all over the place. You want to just get lucky with them. Or in this case, place them in the perfect position, because he knew that the Terran would set up behind his line and would just have to have to work from there. So catching another group of random Terran units here and going to build his new hatchery, no problem. So yeah, there's no way that this army is going to stop that, because once they overextend or once they go to a base like this, they're going to get surrounded and they're going to get killed. Especially these banelings are going to do very well if they land, obviously. And here we go on the edge of the Zerg territory. But that should be good enough. Yeah, he's setting up a missile turret, making sure that he has something against those Mutalisks. And the Mutalisks are not really coming out. It's Corruptors now. The Greater Spire is also coming up, so that means Broodlords, which was kind of obvious from the fact that we saw Corruptors, because, well, there are no air units except for these medeffects, and they don't really matter, because they are very low on energy. They don't really matter at all. So anyhow, yeah, this base might actually go down, even though the Zerg player had a firm grasp on this game. He did lose all of his Mutalisks now, and he is going to invest a little bit too much in everything he has. And wow, yeah, he's going to scan this and pick off all of the workers, I think. No? Okay. Or don't. That's cool too. Yeah, the Broodlords are coming out. It's a huge investment, so if this doesn't pay off, he can actually still lose this. But yeah, has a big army still in reserve, so should work out. It's just that, yeah, this is the thing that's so scary. The Thors can actually shoot them down so easily. And there we go. We do have them, but yeah, wow, the Thor's just doing massive damage. And oh my god, yeah, now the Thors are down, but so much damage done by them. The Broodlords, however, are going to clean up these tanks together with the Mutalisks. But the Broodlords are good enough at that. I mean, they have long range. They also distract the Marines pretty well. So unless you actually physically move your Marines to these guys, they're going to attack the Broodlings that come out. And that, of course, is no good. I don't think, well, I know he didn't do enough damage there. Yeah, he didn't do enough damage with his Broodlords. He was so strong in that early game. But yeah, invested so much in those infestors. I don't really, or sorry, not infestors, in those Broodlords. Don't really understand why he did that, why he switched. But I guess he had his reasons, and Broodlords are not very effective against Marines, and obviously not very effective against Thors. They are very good against tanks, but so are Mutalisks. I mean, he could have stuck with that, went for roaches instead of the Broodlords, and he would have had way more roaches. I mean, roaches and infestors, that would have been the big units of choice instead of infestors and Broodlords. But well, he made the choice and is stuck with it and got killed because of it. So anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. GG.